A Pennsylvania grand jury has recently brought child sex abuse charges against 9 men, all Jehovah's Witnesses, in what some are calling the most extensive investigation into the group in history.
Fox 43's Harry Lee reveals the investigation that will likely lead to an official report that could have major consequences for the Jehovah's Witness organization.
The first time was a Wednesday morning.
Martin Haugh was assigning door-to-door routes for the Red Lion Jehovah's Witnesses congregation when a teenage member slipped inside the Kingdom Hall with Haugh's 4-year-old daughter.
I caught him, fondling my daughter. I didn't know what to do. I actually didn't do anything the first time because I didn't know if I saw that.
The second time was a Sunday morning.
My daughter disappeared again for the second time, and I freaked out. I was really scared because I knew he was there, and I saw him assaulting our daughter.
Even after the third time, for a true believer, there was nowhere to turn. The Haughs relied on divine justice, not secular.
The police are controlled by Satan, the justices. So we can't get justice for anybody out there.
The world is lying in the power of the wicked one.
In 2005, they reported the abuse to the elders, but not to police.
You're told to wait on Jehovah.
So they waited 11 years.
I wish it was the child abuse that woke me up, but it wasn't.
Haugh is now one of dozens of witnesses to testify before a Pennsylvania grand jury that's investigating an alleged systemic cover-up of child sexual abuse within the Jehovah's Witnesses organization.
The group, also known as the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society, has 8.7 million members worldwide, including 1.2 million in America and 83,000 in Pennsylvania. It was founded in Pittsburgh in the 1870s, breaking with orthodox Christianity over its focus on Armageddon and separation from the world.
In recent months, Pennsylvania Attorney General Michelle Henry announced sex abuse charges against 9 members of Jehovah's Witnesses, hinting at a larger pattern.
Some of these defendants even used their faith communities to prey upon the victims, and others had to look no further than their own families.
Defense lawyer Dan Kiss said his client, Robert Ostrander, was singled out to advance a bigger investigation.
This seems to me, in large part, to be Catholic Church Part 2. They're making this about the Jehovah Witness religion.
In February, I asked the Attorney General if she was investigating the organization as a whole. Her response:
"This is an ongoing investigation."
The Attorney General's office says they still can't comment on the investigation, but wrote in a statement, "The relevance of the Jehovah's Witnesses organization to the investigation is outlined in the grand jury's presentments regarding each defendant who has been charged. Those presentments articulate incidents where defendants use their positions of authority within Jehovah's Witnesses congregations to build trust with children who they later abused." Now, multiple sources confirm the state attorney general's office is investigating the organization, with a report likely to follow.
I understand there is a grand jury convened on these issues.
From my understanding, that there is a grand jury going on.
The investigation is wrapping up. 9 Jehovah's Witness men have been arrested for child abuse in the past 4 months in Pennsylvania, with many more arrests coming. My little work has helped arrest some of those men.
Sources say the report is expected to detail Jehovah's Witnesses' internal judicial system and how it allegedly fails to hold abusers accountable.
There is tremendous abuse in the faith that is intrafamilial. And so many victims in the faith have been locked in because they're not allowed to tell the authorities. And the proof element in the church has been so high. So it's disastrous.
For an internal investigation, Watchtower requires 2 people to witness the abuse, a standard that in many cases is impossible to meet. In recent years, DNA evidence can be considered as the second witness.
The odds of child abuse, including DNA evidence, especially when you're not encouraged to go to the police right away, is almost zero. It's not going to happen.
The Haughs did go to the police in 2017, shortly after they grew disillusioned with the church and left. In 2018, John Logan Haugh, Martin's step-cousin, was charged with indecent assault of a person under the age of 13. But because John was about 14 years old at the time, the charges were ultimately dropped. Martin says he will continue to work with the Attorney General's office to ensure what happened to his daughter never happens to someone else's.
I would love to see the headquarters held accountable because it is their policy that has led thousands of young kids to be abused, victimized over and over again.
Jehovah's Witnesses responded in a statement that the scriptural investigation does not purport to offer an alternative process to the secular authorities' investigation of allegations of the crime of sexual abuse. They added that the religion of Jehovah's Witnesses does not shield any perpetrator of child abuse from the secular authorities. Elders will report an allegation of abuse to the statutory authorities as required by law. Harry Lee, Fox 43 News.
Martin and his wife have continued to work with the Attorney General's office as the grand jury continues investigating an alleged cover-up of child sexual abuse within the Jehovah's Witnesses organization.
And we should note that while we do not typically identify victims in our reporting, both the parents and now adult victims say it was important for them to share their story in hopes of protecting others.
And tonight on Fox 43 News at 10, we look into the legal ramifications for the religious group and why the organization itself could be held responsible for the actions of its members.